Hey folks, this is Lou. I'm doing a unedited video of my repair of my fuel tank pickup, which is located right here in the cab on the floor, underneath the floor, and I want to show you quickly how I did it because I couldn't find any other such videos on YouTube. There are plenty for the skid steer, but none for the excavator. So I was munching this pile of plant debris with my thumb and bucket when I got stalled out, and it felt like fuel starvation immediately because it kept sputtering when I tried to start it up, but it wouldn't start up. The starter worked fine, but it felt like fuel starvation. So the first thing I did was pop the hatch in the back and had to look at the fuel lines. First thing I did was check out fuel to the fuel filter here, and you do that by loosening this screw with either a screwdriver at the top or pliers, and then pump the fuel line that goes to that, which you follow back here, and is this little bulb. This supplies fuel directly from the tank to the filter. And I pumped away on this, and I got no fuel coming out of here. When I loosened this, I actually completely removed it. So I knew that I had a clog or a problem with fuel somewhere between the filter and the tank. So let's follow this line back to the tank. This is the finished product for removing the floor. This is the tank underneath the floor. I want to tell you quickly how I removed the floor. This is the fuel line that we're going to deal with here in a minute. In any case, there's the mat, and here's the mat that I took out. The biggest problem with this whole issue of dealing with a fuel pickup is getting this darn mat out. And there's a trick, and the first thing you do is remove this section right here, which wraps around your left pedal, this pedal. So once you've got that back forward of the pedal, the next thing you do is roll the back of the mat forward, and that's what this is right here. I just grab this and roll it forward. And once you do that, the whole thing just slides out in this direction. The next thing is to remove this threshold plate, which is a piece of metal going across. 3 bolts. Took that off. Then the next thing is the floor pan, which wraps around the pedals. And here's the floor pan right there. That's in the front of the floor. Then there's another floor pan under that in the back, underneath the seat, and that's this one right here. They're all just bolted down, simple bolts. And then you have access to the tank. So the first thing I did was take a screwdriver and remove the line right here, and then pop the fitting out. This is a brass fitting that's an L-shaped fitting with the hose clamped here, and then inside there's a straw-like hose with a 1/2 inch inside diameter that's connected to the other end of this L-shaped fitting. This brass fitting goes through a grommet. So you pop this grommet with a screwdriver carefully, or what I used was a putty knife, a wide, thick putty knife, to carefully remove it so I didn't damage the tank, which is probably a hard polyethylene tank. So once I got that out of there, I immediately saw that there was no tube attached to this fitting. And when I looked inside, in the sunlight, like I have conditions I have right now, I could see the broken off tube in the bottom of the tank, and also the brass fitting, which is a filter on the pickup end. So I went to eBay and I ordered myself a new brass filter. They're $9 delivered. And then I went to Lowe's and bought myself a roll of polyethylene tubing, inside diameter 1/4 inch, and it fit perfectly on both the pickup filter at the bottom and on this fitting inside. And then I lashed them together with stainless steel tie wire that I bought at Ace Hardware. Then I popped this back in, I connected the hose, I made sure that my bleeder screw on the filter was closed and everything was nice and tight, and then I fired her up, and it took a little effort to fire her up. because I hadn't bled the system of air. So I came back here and I removed this screw right here, and I pumped away on the bulb until all the air came out of this bleeder screw, and then tightened her back down. Then I went back in my cab, and when I went to fire her up, there was still air in the system that I couldn't bleed, and it kept sputtering and popping. So what I did is I moved my accelerator arm full forward, and then finally she started to pop and fired up, and now she's humming just fine. So here's a demo. In any case, it's a simple matter from here. I'm just going to put this rear plate on first, and then the front plate on the floor, just bolt everything down. Then I'm going to put in this threshold plate right here, and then lastly I'm going to roll the mat in, and I'll be good to go. Anyway, I hope this helps you guys who haven't seen a video on the excavator. This is a 331, but I wouldn't be surprised if others are very similar. Other models are similar to this. Okay, take care. Adios. Mahalo. Aloha.